Welcome to another episode of I Am Maria podcast, a space where we explore the impact stories that inspire us to be who we are today, showing how our personal decisions and tools shape our lives. I have the honor of sitting down with a woman whose story moved me deeply, Deborah. You have been a big supporter since day one, really. And I appreciate every single message that you have sent me. But what really inspired me to get you to this space is really that story that you have, Deborah. As one of seven siblings, Deborah has been always the peacemaker, the resilient one, the one who never gives up. And today, she opens up about navigating grief, motherhood, and an identity with grace and strength. After losing her husband just 6 weeks after a shocking diagnosis, Deborah found power in tools like movement, nutrition, and rest. Foundational elements that gave her the freedom to stay grounded and creative. We talk about being a young mom, breaking free from society's expectations, and the deep importance of self love and perseverance. This conversation is going to be raw, beautiful, and full of wisdom. Deborah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for having me. And it's an honor to be with you here. It's an honor.
And we're going to start right away because that's the only way to get to know you. And my first question is, who is Deborah Lanza?
I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm one of seven. I'm exact middle of seven and very strong, smart siblings and parents that lived integrity and consistency. It was never really about talking about values. It was demonstrating day in and day out. I'm amazed at my parents. I have said to them in the past, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you did it, because I really think I know that I've been blessed, and I'm here to share that with anyone and everyone that will take it. So that's part of who I am. I also have a very strong faith in God, and that creates clarity, resilience, faith to continue on. Yeah, that's who I am.
I love that. I love that. And to get to know you a little bit more, Deborah, I'm going to ask you about three important decisions that have led you to the life you have today and to the person you are today. So if you can tell me about, you can talk about one or three, that so that the audience will get to know, what were those big moments in your life that really change your perspective, your scenario. What changed your life?
So many things changed my life. So life is, it's amazing. It's an amazing gift if you look at it like that. One thing that stays with me when I became a young mom, my aunts, my great aunts were nuns, and they believed their faith was so strong and they had so much love. When I became a young mom, they were the most supportive. They said, Dolly, it's good. This is good. And that's one thing that resonates with me about my aunts, Sister Ann and Sister Dorothea, who were principals and teachers, and they're amazing women. And that stuck with me. So that's a foundation of mine, is love. Contrary to popular belief and society, love. Love yourself, take it from there. Love yourself because you matter.
You're the most important person, right? And then everything else will fall.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And it's a gift you can give to someone else. You give yourself the gift, you give someone else a gift.
Wow. That's a beautiful way to put it. That's so lovely. And I am sure in your toolbox, Deborah, you have love. But what else is on your toolbox that continues to be there with you, and those might be resources, techniques, or habits that you have implemented to stay focused and to move forward?
Absolutely. So, number one to me is nutrition. If you're not feeding your body and your mind with proper nutrition and nutrients and rest, okay, rest comes into play, exercise and being in nature. Those are fundamentals. You need that in order to be creative, to let yourself loose, to be able to accomplish things, whatever it may be. Something small, something, it could be throwing a party for someone. I recently, right before the holidays, I had a party for a friend of mine. His father turned 90. And it's amazing that you can give joy to others while loving yourself. So,
Yeah. If you love yourself, I think you shine. And others will love that, will want to be, next to you. That is beautiful. I'm so glad I'm here with you right now.
me too, Maria. And again, nutrition, that these are critical aspects of life. We no one's perfect. No one can eat perfect 100% of the time, although I'm sure there are a few. Um, you need to be disciplined in that, in your nutrition. Fortunately, my parents were very good about that, eating whole food, nutritious food. And I guess having seven, it's sort of, if you bought all the junk food, it would be very expensive, but we just didn't live that way. And the same thing when my children are growing up. Nutrition, so important. I couldn't afford it when I was a single mom, so they were having carrots, and that was their snack: carrots, cucumbers, celery. But nutrition is definitely a big key to everything. Clarity in your mind.
Mm.
Yes, so that's number one on my list: nutrition.
And I love that you talk about nutrition, not only on what's the food you have, but also, like, be surrounded by nature. Now, of course, nutrition comes into like a big part of life. And I think especially when you're having a hard day, when you're having a hard situation. And how do you do when you're having these sad or difficult times to keep up on the nutrition? Because many will fall into the habit of not eating or eating junk food or sweets.
Yes, that's something that we all fall into. I was at the grocery store yesterday, and the woman in line behind me, she was saying she was having such a rough day, and her husband said, "You go get Chinese food, but get me a steak." So she was getting him a steak. She was, I said, "You go enjoy that Chinese food, okay? It's good that you can just say, today I do whatever makes me feel calm, that makes me feel better about the situation I have to deal with today." So you can have those times. Personally, I may put on a movie or two. I'm not big into the Hollywood scene, but I may put on a movie or two, something real simple, like The Song of Bernadette or Anne of Green Gables. And it's just so calming. And you need downtime. You need to take that time when you have challenges that you have to face, which we all do all the time.
That's actually so powerful, because if you give yourself grace, you hug your difficult time, you understand that it's a moment, and then you move forward. I love that.
Yeah.
Deborah, what does resilience mean to you, and how has it show up in your life since your childhood?
Well, being the exact middle of seven, you figure it out as you are growing up. I'm amazed at my own resilience. Where does it come from? It goes back to the nutrition, the sleep, my prayers. I find life to be exciting. You create it yourself. You create your environment. That's so important. What can I say about resilience to you, Maria? You earn it as you grow. You gain wisdom as you grow. I don't really have like a perfect, insightful answer for that. It's just built. Resilience is built. It's built through experience
Mhm.
and movement, and don't sit back. I mean, just go for it. Always. I did as a young single mom, and I started out in sales after I realized you have to get going now with the baby. Um, you don't really plan it out, you just do it. So I started in sales, and I became the vice president of that company within 2 years. So that's something I'm very proud of. I was only 26 at the time. So, and through my boss, my first boss, my only boss that I had, Bill Egan, he taught me so much. He taught me so much about being consistent with people, and yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. Resilience is gained through movement, through your journey, through your experiences. And
And I think really with the toolbox that you have so many positive tools to keep yourself happy, calm. And I wonder if growing in, in such a big family and being the middle child and the peacemaker, do you think that shaped who you are today?
definitely, because you're getting from the older siblings, the younger siblings, you're getting strength from the older, you're passing the love on to the younger. So it's a culmination of personalities and emotional awareness, emotional IQ, which
Hmm?
is where really it's at. Because if you connect with people without a judgment, okay, so I learned that too about growing up in a big family. There's judgment, and when you have judgment upon you, in my opinion, it hinders some of your creativity. So you need to loosen that up for yourself. You don't worry about what anyone else says or thinks, because you can't blossom fully if that's what you're worried about. It really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about what you're doing, as long as you know you're doing your best and you're honest about it, you work hard. Things fall into place better than you could ever imagine. Yeah, life is really a beautiful gift.
It is, especially as you said, if you're doing what you love, what you like, you're gonna have that beautiful light. Doesn't matter about others, and you are the one that matters.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so many things, even since my husband passed away, that I experienced that I never thought that I would. Um, I had dinner at the St. Regis in Manhattan for a charity event. The third person to my left was at my dinner table was Queen Nora of Jordan. Um, Things like that. Some presidential stuff in there. So what an honor. What an honor and a gift. And it continues to this day. So it's absolutely amazing. Really is. And
Wow.
not just that. I mean, even to people that I've met on the street, in the street. And I always had a challenge with that. My sister always worked in Manhattan, like on Fifth Avenue, and we'd go into the city. And if I saw a homeless person, that really, really touched my heart. And I was told, you can't talk to them, but I let them know I see them. And I somehow give my energy of love to them, because somehow, some way, they were brought to that moment in time. And yeah, one never knows. One never knows. So it's all encompassing. We all came in the same way. We're all going out the same way. So
I relate so much with you because yeah, for me, seeing a homeless person is like, I really, if I could bring you home and, like give you a space, but whatever I can do is like maybe buy you food, buy you water, smile at you, tell you you have a great day, because we're all the same. And yeah, I love what you said. And Deborah, I want to get into, you have been saying single mother, that you lost your husband. What were the most important tools that help you, through this loss and this hard moment? And I want to tell you that I hug you, and I can really imagine how hard it was for you as a person, as a mother, and back in the days where it was even harder, to talking about the society.
absolutely. It was, you were supposed to follow a pattern. You were supposed to follow the routine. Finish high school, go to college, do this, do that. So majority of people I know did that. And I took a different path. But that worked for me. I wouldn't say that works for everyone. You have to do what's right for you. Some people aren't ready for certain things. And that's the point in keeping your nutrition clean, sleeping, exercise, getting in nature, so you can then figure out what's good for you, what you really love to do. In my case, I'm an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before it was popular to say entrepreneur. I don't know what the proper term is, but back then, if someone asked you, what do you do? And you didn't have a formal profession, it was, I don't want to say lacking, but entrepreneur wasn't at the top. It wasn't at the top of the list with people. It just, not that it was frowned upon, but not as easy to understand if it's not so defined. But I wouldn't change it. That's what works for me. It gives me great fulfillment to accomplish and create and to meet beautiful people like you.
That is beautiful.
I'm going to go back. I know you want to stay on track. One thing I do want to share with you, if it's okay. It was Christmas Eve one year, and I wasn't going back home to New York for Christmas. And I decided, what am I going to do? It was Christmas Eve. I went to Home Goods and I bought this big reusable bag and blanket and the popcorn and all kinds of stuff. And I drove around looking for a homeless person, and I found one sitting on the curb at Walmart. And I drove around because I didn't want to bother him either. And then I parked, and then I just walked to him. I was like, here, this is for you. And he was so happy. He said, Merry Christmas. And he took out the blanket. I had a blanket, and then he just put it on his body. And I had to slide it off and say, let me help you, because I had to pull the tags off and everything. But it's really that simple.
That you will remember for life.
And then I drove away, Maria, and I took a picture. It was far further away, but just for my own memory. That's what that's for. So thanks for letting me share that. And if you want me to proceed with the loss of my husband.
Yes, please.
Okay. So my husband was misdiagnosed with kidney stones. And unfortunately, he had metastatic colon cancer that we found out on our own. And we admitted him into the hospital. We paid for the scans ourselves. And he had surgery. He had a 7-hour abdominal surgery at NYU. And the first night, the surgeon said to me, your husband has 2 to 3 months to live. And the following night, he said, your husband has 6 weeks to live. And it was exactly 6 weeks. So for 6 weeks, when my husband came home, and I never left the house, not one day. My daughter did the banking, the post office, the grocery shopping. I even would be like, could you please get me, Mom, a box of hair color? It's going to be Saturday night. And it wasn't to be vain or to look a certain way. It was really out of respect for my husband. It was Saturday night. And yeah, I was with him when he left. I can say that now without tears. And it was incredible. I never even cried the first day. I cried every day for 2 years after that. But what I've learned is our presence stays with us. Our love stays. It doesn't go away. So it's important that we understand that, because I think some people get caught up in the grief and then they miss part of their own life. And that actually happened to me. I feel like I missed part. I was going through all the motions. I was building a house by myself. I'm not a general contractor, but I did it. And I said, oh, it took me 2 years to obtain those necessary permits. I better continue this. I didn't want to lose the opportunities that I had. But truly, it was a grief I think I was pushing off in a sense. Like the building of the house kept me busy, but like the rough days, and we say when you go off with your nutrition, it's okay to take time to breathe. That's okay. You don't need to keep pushing through and pushing through. We all need that downtime. And that's how you love yourself. That's how you show up for yourself. And that's how you can show up for other people. So this is some of my story, Maria. It's been a wild ride. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Wow. So strong. And I, besides of me saying anything here, I want to ask more questions, because that's a way to, even know how is that you find how you found that strength to keep going during and after such as heartbreaking experience. How do you do it, Deborah?
I think it goes back to being a young single mom, that you really don't question yourself. You just push through. If that doesn't work, you try the next thing. You try something else. If that doesn't work, okay, I can't make this fit. What else can I do? How can I adjust? How can I pivot? What's working? What's not working? So, but everything we encounter, in my opinion, is like that. Nothing is just so, oh, everything's going to go smooth and perfect today. You just find the strength. I've been told that growing up, and certain family members, my second cousin's mom, you are so strong. You are so strong. I would hear that often, but I never thought much about it until recently. And I realized how strong I am. Very strong. Once again, back to nutrition, sleep, prayer, nature. Love going to the beach in the morning and putting my feet right in the sand. There's something about that.
I love it. We can definitely have those plans. I'm definitely all about into nature. I think when I have those hard days, the place for me to run into is nature. um Something that really calms my mind is walking by the river. So I definitely feel what you said, and putting my hands on my feet on the sound, it's something that really calms me. Deborah, what was the most beautiful and most challenging part of becoming a mother at a young age?
Most challenging. I'll go with most beautiful, because just being a mom at a young age is challenging within itself, according to society. But again, it worked for me. It gave me, it gave me really, I just couldn't believe seeing my firstborn and that feeling of love. That was just amazing. You have a son, right, Maria?
I do have a son, 4 years old.
And what was that moment you first saw him? That feeling is incredible. And you wonder through life, you don't really, you get that with your firstborn and even with your other children, but you won't get it again until you're a grandparent.
Hmm.
So when you become a grandparent, you say, I would tell all my siblings, since I was the first grandmother out of my siblings, they would tease me, okay, grandma. And I said, you can call me grandma any day of the week. You do not know what you're missing. Now they have grandchildren and they understand that it's that same feeling of when your first child was born, maybe even a little better. No, I shouldn't say that.
Well,
But
that's what I've heard. It's a different feeling, and my mom told me it's like I can't even describe. It feels better than not
yeah,
better than having that having a children yourself, but this is something else.
yes, it is. And I'm so close with my grandchildren. My granddaughter came to spend a month with me last summer. Kaylani, she's so sweet. Oh, she's so good. They're all good. But so I don't want to get too far off track here. Um,
No, I'll bring you back on track,
please,
because
thank
I do have a lot of questions, and we can continue. And Deborah, you mentioned that society, in a way, can put you in a box, especially back in the days. And this is about your story, so I want you to tell me, how is that you kind of break out of that and choose your own path?
Well, as I have mentioned about Sister Ann and Sister Dorothea, my aunts, once they gave me the, it's fine, Dolly, like I just knew it was okay. I never put myself down about it or felt bad about it. I just, I'm so grateful. I mean, once you experience that love, everything is okay. Everything works out. Everything will be okay. We put that on ourselves because society is telling us to do it this way. There's not one way for everyone. We're all different, but we're all the same. So I am fortunate in the fact that I have so many different perspectives that I grew up with. So I've learned to adjust and understand and be compassionate. Like I'm just that way. I, I just came back from Las Vegas, and if I could tell you the people I spoke with, Sherry on the way from Vegas to Denver, and Jody from Denver to Sarasota, and I love how people just feel comfortable with me to open up and talk to me because it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. Again, I appreciate so much this moment on sharing this talk and this moment with you, my Friday, and your Friday. Deborah, what advice will you give to that young person who is struggling to get to know themselves or believe in the future?
The advice that I would give to a young person um, struggling or just trying to figure it out is is Love yourself. I know I said love 500 times here, but love yourself. It's all about you. It's all about you. Once you accept that and love yourself and feed yourself healthy, sleep, because that's a beautiful thing too. You can accomplish what you want to. You can start to set goals, but that would be my biggest piece of advice. Learn about yourself, understand yourself, love yourself, then take it from there. I know so many stories. They followed the rule book, followed this, that, passed the bar here, passed the bar there, and then a big life change, an unexpected change. So we don't know. We don't know how things will change. We don't know how things will turn out. You must enjoy the ride. Okay. You must enjoy the ride. It's like a roller coaster. So you're going to be up, you're going to be down, and you need to learn to enjoy the ride. From my 26th birthday to my 39th birthday, my husband would take me away every year to an island or something like that. And we would go to my parents with the kids the week after for a birthday cake. But it's fun to go away for your birthday because it's your birthday, it's your birthday. And my mom said to me, that's one of the best things you ever did for yourself. And really it was. So I highly recommend you live now, love yourself now, and everything else falls into place if you're doing the right thing. So work hard, love yourself, love others. That's why we're here. We're not here for long, that's for sure. I can attest to that. I still feel like I'm 20. I don't know how I came to be over 60. But I love it because I lived my life. See, I always say that. Sometimes people ask maybe not ask my age, but I have no problem volunteering it because I lived my life. I lived. So live your life. Enjoy it. You only get one shot.
You only get one shot. Live your life, love yourself. And have you always loved yourself, or how has your definition of self-love evolved over the years, Deborah?
So while I was younger, being the middle of seven, there's almost so much love to divide. There's only so much love that can go around. So although my parents were steadfast with their work ethic, their integrity, you name it, still have no idea how they did it. But I commend them. And I forgot what I was saying now. I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry, Maria.
No, that's perfect. I was asking you, how has your definition of love evolved over the years?
Right. So I didn't have that fully when I was growing and becoming a young adult. I didn't have that love for myself fully. It takes time to learn that that's the most important thing, to love yourself first and fully. What did I do during that time? Maybe I searched out for love in the wrong places a little bit, but I grew out of that real fast because I had children, and it takes a long time. It does take time, and the more you invest in yourself, the more you're going to be able to understand yourself, love yourself, and know that that's the foundation that you need. That is the foundation you need. Love yourself. Then you can build anything you want. Nothing will stop you. Nothing.
Yeah, you love yourself and others will love you. You mention a lot of, children, your children, and if you love yourself, they will love themselves too.
My daughter, well, she was going to school at ASU. It was my birthday, and she sent me a birthday card, and I'll never forget it. I have the card, and I have it on my phone and everything. It says, it says all the happy birthday and everything. And then she wrote, "I hope you never change. You're the most beautiful person I know."
Oh.
So to receive that from, she's in a school with 52,000 students at the time, it really meant a lot to me. But all of my children do. I'm very close with them, especially my son.
That is so lovely. I love that. And you know that this space, I Am Maria podcast, is to inspire and motivate our generation and also the young generation. And there's a lot of young mothers. And I want to get one more question to you from this topic, because
Absolutely.
you became a young mom, had a lot of challenges, but really you kind of redefine what the situation that you had to find the opportunities. And I am sure that that kind of, gave you a sense of identity in a way.
Definitely. When I became a young mom, a lot of influence surrounding me was not necessarily from my parents, but, "Oh, you need to go to social services." And I did go. I went there once. And I sat in that room for an entire day and nothing was accomplished. Nothing. And I said, "Well, how am I going to do this? I am not going to do this another day. I have to make it happen myself." So if there's a young mother out there,
Make it happen.
make it happen. You are worth it. Your
Mm.
child is worth it. Think of it like that. You're not a victim. There's no sorry here. There's nothing wrong. It's a beautiful thing. And if I could show the picture of my beautiful daughter, you would see what I mean. Daughters and son. But there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be intimidated about. There's nothing to feel shame about. Work on yourself. Let your child see that. This way they get power too. That's where they get their power and energy from, yours. My kids and I, we always had so much fun. Singing, dancing around the house, dancing when you're cleaning. It's important to spread joy. And as far as young moms, again, love yourself, take good care of yourself. Treat yourself like, I never thought of it like this, but treat yourself like you're a queen, because you are. You are.
Yeah. I mean, the first person to treat, you know, themselves as queen or king is you. And then again, everybody will see that and will want to treat you the same way. And again, Deborah, you're so strong. And I'm like, you have been through a lot, losing your husband, being a single mother, being an entrepreneur since very young age. And I want to ask you, like, if you had a person right in front of you, somebody, what will you tell that person who feels like they're lost in faith, they're losing that themselves or really their path? Because when we're having situations in like losing your partner, becoming a young mother or whatever, we'll have these hard situations. I know you talk a lot about nutrition, hugging yourself, feeling that emotion, but what will you say to that person that it's really losing faith in their path?
This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Oh.
We may not know it or understand that. And many of the phrases or quotes, per se, that people use, we don't understand fully at the time. But I've heard that. This too shall pass. And that's true. It is so true. And if you hold on to that, also another one, God doesn't give you anything you cannot handle. Okay. So when you accept that, that gives you strength. That gives you strength to know this too shall pass. It's a moment in time. It hurts. Maybe you won't do your work that day. Maybe you'll take the day off.
Mm.
Especially for someone that isn't at the point where I am in my life, where I've grown into this. It's not like it just happened this way. Well, it did happen this way, but I've grown into it. But it's okay when you're younger, unsure of yourself, to take time to decompress, de-stress, relax, love yourself, have the Chinese food, watch a soft movie, not anything scary, or watch it, stay calm, and it will pass. The tough times always pass.
Wow. I felt that so deeply, this too shall pass. It's like
Yeah.
it gave me peace when I heard that.
When I was young, it gave me peace too when I heard that. This too shall pass. I didn't know fully at the time, but I know now that everything does pass. Everything is going to be okay. And if you look at your life like that, even through the challenges, it's okay. That's part of it. That is, is it difficult? Yes. Is life tough? Yes. It's tough on everyone. You may not see the difficult part with some people, but it's there. We all get it. Every one of us. The rich, the poor, the ugly, the not ugly, the smart, the not so smart, you name it, we all get it. And you accept it. You nurture yourself during that time so you can recover and move forward.
Yeah. And most importantly, live through that moment. The downs are only downs. We'll get you up again.
Yes.
Looking back, would you change anything?
Personally, no. Maybe one thing. Maybe one bad boyfriend that came into my life after my husband. It was like someone that wasn't honest and truthful. So maybe that, but not really. I don't know. It was a lesson that I needed to learn. So I'm grateful for every experience, honestly.
I love that. I know you have given a lot of advice, Deborah, and I'm trying to be cautious of time. And really, my last question here for you today is, what would you like people listening to take away from this episode?
Basically, what I've said, that loving yourself is the most important thing that you can do for your life. It's your life. You can do anything you want to do. You don't have to be unrealistic. You don't have to try to build a bridge. Well, we build bridges every day, but I mean, physically build a bridge. My brother-in-law is an iron worker, so I know. But build bridges, make connections, love yourself, love people. It's amazing. It's an amazing world we live in. Amazing. I'm grateful. Thank you, Maria. I really appreciate you asking me. I'm honored that you asked me to do the podcast. And I love what you're doing because I do think it contributes and helps people. That's why I wanted to do it, because if I could share some insight, it sounds easier said than done, what I'm saying. Love yourself. But if you can just strip it down, step back and be like, what does that mean? And learn what that means to love yourself so you can care for yourself and then you can care for others. That's what I have to say.
I love that, Deborah. Thank you again for being here and for opening your story to the world through I Am Maria podcast. This is Deborah Lanza's story. What is yours? Thank you again.
Thank you, Maria.